Madam President, reserving the right to object, I am requesting a vote on my amendment number 4329, and I am very disappointed that my Democratic colleagues will refuse to vote on this very simple, very important, very constitutionally correct amendment that also dramatically could impact military readiness, which is why it's so important to discuss here as we're debating the NDAA. Madam President, my amendment is simple. It prohibits the Department of Defense from enforcing President Biden's vaccine mandate on contractors and subcontractors. That's it. Why is this important? Well, look, we all want to put the vaccine behind us. There's no doubt about that. We've all been vaccinated here. I think most of us have encouraged our constituents in consultation with their physicians to do the same. But first and foremost, Madam President, this vaccine mandate is becoming increasingly clear is not constitutionally based and is not based in statute. And I think that the American people are seeing that on a daily basis. So it's an issue of not just the constitutional authority of the president, but it's an issue of the principle that got us all through the pandemic last year. If you remember, one of the most important principles that we had as we were working on COVID relief, whether the CARES Act or other aspects of legislation that we had with regard to COVID relief for our citizens, was this: if you got relief, whether you were a small business from the PPP program or an airline or a defense contractor, the law said you had to keep your employees. You had to keep them together, employers and employees together. That was the principle that all of us, Democrats and Republicans, the Trump administration agreed on during the pandemic. And it worked. And many of these workers were on the front lines helping us get through the pandemic. This president, with his mandate, has taken a sledgehammer to that principle. Not only are we now saying employers and employees stick together, he's saying to employers, if you don't listen to the president, employers in America, you have to fire your employees. Think about that, Madam President. That is exactly the opposite of what we all agreed on last year as we were trying to get this nation through the pandemic. So it's fairness, it's a principle that matters, and here's the final thing. And I think we're going to see this. It's a readiness issue for our military. I've been talking to the White House on trying to get them to rescind this mandate. They have consistently said, well, it's only going to impact about 1% of the workforce. We can't afford anybody getting fired from their job, but they think it's about 1%. I was home in Alaska last weekend. This could impact contractors 10, 15, 20% of their workforce. Might not be working. Defense contractors, hurting readiness. And again, during the pandemic, we were asking these Americans to show up at work and make sure our defense industries were strong. And now the president's telling these same contractors, go fire your employees. Oh, by the way, over the holidays. So I think this is a very simple, reasonable amendment that will help readiness. And therefore, Madam President, I ask to modify the request to include my amendment number 4329.